Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Fish Tank on this brand new episode of Fish Tank.
So Klinik telehealth is a platform that ensures healthcare access is delivered conveniently, affordably, and easy to access. So we've built a platform and our mode of distribution or access is WhatsApp.
That 500 shillings, who's paying? Is it cash? Is it insurers? And if it's insurance...
Currently, it's mobile money and card.
Would you use telemedicine?
As I told you, if I am sick, I will want to see a doctor.
If the patients, 90% of them, for example, end up still having to go back to the doctor, then it points to this not necessarily working.
He receives an average maybe 10 calls in a day. 8 are pro bono cases. People want because they know him.
Kinawangari.
Now, out of those 10 cases...
You are helping him charge for those.
Exactly.
So if anything goes wrong, the patient will not sue Klinik.
No, we'll sue the hospital.
But the patient doesn't know.
Which is fine. We avail everything because what happens is...
I don't particularly trust Meta. WhatsApp, and you said that is the platform you're building all of this. How sure am I that my data is being protected? It's not being sold to someone somewhere that these are the number of Africans with this disease and
Your identifier on our platform is your phone number.
That's a lot, eh?
So we don't...
In Kenya, that's me.
And that's for us.
Yeah. How much are you paying them?
Now, what happens is we don't pay the doctor directly. They are engaged with the hospital.
So the hospital knows how much the doctor makes.
Correct.
And you don't?
It's confidential.
Okay.
Many moons ago, I was once onboarded onto something very, very similar to this. It was being run by one of the major mobile network providers. I will not name them. And it was terrible.
Why can't there just be continuity of care with the same doctor?
Think about you like a man.
I'm not a man.
Think
I can't think like a man.
for a second.
No.
It makes a lot of sense when you squeeze it down to a niche.
Yeah.
Like you're talking mental health or home care, like she was saying.
I agree.
Yeah, and I personally feel like that would be a good place to start before you jump to primary health care.
I think this is a very viable startup, in my opinion.
I'm still not convinced.
How will the doctor rate it out of 10?
When it comes to healthcare, I'm a purist. It's one of the oldest professions in the world. And there are a lot of intangibles that go into your interaction with a patient that telehealth has never quite gotten right.
I woke up and I want to serve people in the market. I'm like, who's the market? Who's the people? Did you even sit down and consider someone needs this? There's very poor thinking on how products are made.
Hey, welcome back to another series of Fish Tank. Today we are talking healthcare, and I want to introduce our panel member. Over to you, Dr. JP.
I'm Dr. JP Ogalo. I am a plastic surgeon by training and profession. I have 15 years of experience across both the private and public healthcare sectors. I've also worked in and worked with a number of startups within the healthcare space, and I'm glad to be on Fish Tank today.
Cool. Another serious guest, and just us, me, Wangari, and
Mr. Black.
cool. And we have over to you, our founder.
Thanks for having me. My name is Steve Dimba, co-founder of Klinik Telehealth. So Klinik Telehealth is a platform that ensures healthcare access is delivered conveniently, affordably, and easy to access. That's our mantra. So we're basically a platform that ensures we connect the service providers to the clients who require those services virtually.
How does it work?
So it works very simple. So we've built a platform and our mode of distribution or access is WhatsApp. So we've built a WhatsApp chatbot, and this is from a research perspective. Having worked in a healthcare environment out of the country, especially in the telehealth environment, I noticed Kenya, WhatsApp has a deeper penetration level and has already curated a behavioral pattern. So we thought that would be the best angle of approach to deploy that service. And with the traction we're seeing, it means our hypothesis wasn't wrong. So,
Who gets connected in WhatsApp?
So we have a WhatsApp for business.
Okay.
So we just save that number. send hi or hello, and then the menu pops up, and then now you can be able to connect.
So, for example, say I have a growth somewhere, just send it, hey, what the hell is this, doctor? Then send it to your WhatsApp.
No. How it works is very simple. Thanks for that. Actually, that's the notion when people tell people it works on WhatsApp.
Yeah.
So how it works is very simple. We have a menu. So when you say hello, the menu populates. So you have like 4 different services on the menu. So you have a doctor consultation, you have a pharmacy services, you have a lab services, you have mental health and the therapy services. And there's the last one we're building, which is now home care services.
Okay.
So when you say hello onto that, the menu will pop up. Then you will select whichever menu you want. Do you want to talk to a doctor? Then you select A. So when you select A, automatically the system kicks in and asks you onboarding questions. The basics that a doctor, or when you go to a hospital, you'll be asked by the triage desk. So what is your age and the gender? Those are the 2 critical that we
And do you have a
require.
temperature?
That will come in during the triage.
Okay.
Yes. So it's just the introduction. Because remember, when you said hello, basically we onboarded you, but we don't know more facts about you.
Okay.
And we don't know which service you want to access on our platform. So to make it easy and to ensure that we also protect your data, we only request specific data depending on the menu that you've chosen.
Okay.
So that makes it easier for somebody to be able to go through the process to ensure that they're also comfortable in information they're giving out.
Okay. So once you've put in your age and gender, what comes up next?
Next is ask you the service you want to get. Is it for self? That means yourself. Other, means you're doing on behalf of somebody else who don't have a smartphone, for instance.
Yeah.
Or a minor,
Okay.
a child. So now that will now trigger the next kind of question. So if it's self, now the system will, so we've built a conversational AI on the back end that does the triage questioning. So the system will ask you, so what are you suffering from?
Okay.
And then once you input whatever you're suffering from, there'll be subsequent questions the system will be asking you. So it's already been trained to be able to ask those questions. But you also have an option of saying, I don't want a question, I just want to see a doctor.
Okay.
So what happens, you can skip the questions, and the next thing the system will ask you is to pay for the consultation fee.
Okay. There's a doctor in waiting on the other end.
Yes. So what
A
we
real
build-
doctor?
A real doctor.
Okay.
So how we build the platform, we're just mirroring what happens on our day-to-day life, but now putting in a digital space. Now, we have arrays of doctors who have logged in onto the platform virtually. These are
Verified.
qualified doctors. So how we've done that is, as a platform, we've partnered with a brick and mortar institution that does the vetting of the doctors before they're onboarded onto the platform.
Okay.
So they check all their credentials to ensure that they match, and then they are onboarded before they're given access to the platform on the back end, which is now the doctor side.
Okay.
Yes.
And at that point, how much would somebody pay to consult with a doctor?
An average of 500 shillings, Kenya shillings.
Okay.
Yes.
If there's need for a lab test, what happens?
So, good question. So, the need for a lab test, that means a doctor has requested you to do a lab test to eliminate maybe a particular ailment.
Yeah.
So, what happens? We have a lab partner, 2 great lab partners, the tier 1 in the country.
Yeah.
Those are the partners
Who are
that
your
we
lab
work
partners?
with. Lancet and Pathcare. Those are our partners. Now, because of that angle, so what happens? The doctor will do in-app prescription.
Okay.
And that prescription is what we push to a lab partner.
Okay.
Then the lab partner will call you, but we'll push them with information of where you are.
Okay. So you have to go to the nearest
No, not necessarily.
Yeah.
So what happens? They have a mobile phlebotomist who will come to where you are
and take your
and take
sample.
the samples, take it to the nearest lab. Because averagely in our platform, we have over 57 plus labs locations in the country.
Yeah.
So they took the nearest lab, run it, and then the test will be availed back to the platform for you to access it, and the doctor also.
I have 2 questions. So how do you, one, ensure the availability of the doctor on the other end, given that this person is working in a different brick and mortar institution? And number 2 is, how are they able to evaluate and diagnose and therefore order the correct labs for that particular patient?
Good question. So what happens is, to answer your first question, availability of the doctors. Remember, the doctors are not... the brick and mortar facility help us to vet the doctors. So the doctors are on like a locum. So they're spread throughout the country. So that means at averagely, you'll have, in our system, you'll have an average of 10 to 15 doctors at any one time.
Even at night.
At night, they will drop to around 40% of that. But there
So,
will be a
so if
doctor.
at midnight I wake up and
Yes.
I'm sweating, I'll guaranteed to find a doctor.
Yes, and our system is very prompt. It will tell you. So once you've paid and we've queued you to the system, it will search the doctor who is available. Now, what happens is if 15 minutes passes and you haven't, it hasn't found a doctor, it will send a notification back. Currently, we're still searching the doctors are. If the doctor is already engaged, those who are available are already engaged. The patients, so it'll send you. We're still searching for. Our doctors are currently engaged. We still currently be patient. We will queue you back. So that's how we do it.
Right.
Yes. So periodically, after 15 minutes, you'll be getting notification if you haven't been queued.
And the examination and evaluation, is there like a video component or is it all just text?
No. So
Yeah.
WhatsApp is just a tool to connect for that initial. But the mode of communication, we got 3 modes of communication with your healthcare service provider. Either you can decide to do a chat, you can decide to do a virtual call, which would be Teams, Zooms, whatever, which is a video, and you can do a voice call, which is via GSM. So that means at that particular point, it's the conversation between you, the patient, and the doctor. The only difference is you're not in the same room. Yes. So if it's a video, they can be able to ask you all the questions around from the normal consultation framework that they
Yeah, so some things would be missing that need physical, like the way a doctor might put the stethoscope on
Yeah.
your chest to get your breathing rhythm, maybe check if you have a lump,
Vitals, yeah.
and then things like if the doctor needs to do that inspection before making a prescription, that is cut off by technology.
Yeah, I agree with you. Remember, telemedicine's core work is just for primary healthcare.
Okay.
As an introduction mechanism. So if there's subsequent review that's supposed to be done, you'll be direct of a physical facility for that to happen.
The place where I feel like this, where this would be useful. Every time I go to hospital, I actually check. You check in and then you go through the processes until you get your medicine, drugs. Typically, it takes about 2 hours.
Correct.
And it takes so long. And the processes are very similar. You have to come register to the desk, have your card registered. You get on a queue, get your weight taken, and then your
Wait
pressure.
around, yeah.
Then you go see a doctor, and then the doctor sends you to the lab. The labs come back. It's a very standard process.
Yes.
And I was like, is there any way that this can be reduced? And I'm thinking, it's the telemedicine should be connected to a hospital where if there are those things that can be done prior, like having my health insurance card verified, perhaps anything else like weight or anything else, so that by the time I come in, I'm either seeing the doctor direct or I'm going to the lab direct so that I don't spend 2 hours there. I feel like that's in my own opinion, the value for telemedicine. Because at some point you have to see a doctor.
Yeah.
You have to. So just cut off those repetitive mandatory steps that have to be taken in a hospital.
Yeah. And I think also to add to what Chris is saying, like, honestly, for me, like, and I know you said it's for primary care, but sometimes, as wrong as this may sound, sometimes I'll just go to the pharmacy and present. Like, I have this and this and this. What do you think I should take?
Does the app encourage self-diagnosis and
It's just
self...
like, sometimes you just need that dawa to, like, and if I get to a point where actually I need to see a doctor, I don't know whether I'll run to like WhatsApp. I'll be like, okay, I need to actually see a physical doctor to this point.
Now, interestingly, I don't say just Kenya, but in Africa, people like self-medicating.
Yeah,
Let
we
me put
do.
it that way. And
It's cheaper.
pharmacies have been taken to be also an opportunity where people go to the pharmacies and they turn them into
Hospital.
consulting doctors
Yeah.
inadvertently. And so what happens is, I agree with you. The challenge has been what Chris has just mentioned, that audacious journey of going to the hospital, queuing for 2 hours before you see a doctor, plus the cost of that consultation puts people on a particular bracket out of that. Now, if you're in your office, you've got crazy schedules and you're feeling some headache. Naturally,
Maramoja.
You'll run for the
Marijuana.
nearest painkiller. The nearest painkiller, which at the same time you can order on our platform. If you go to the menu of the pharmacy, you can be able to order that painkiller on our platform.
Yeah.
And it will be delivered to you.
Oh, so you're like my dawa plus diagnosis.
Yes. We are on a bigger scale, on a bigger scale and at a deeper level of kind of engagement with the patient.
How do you, like, for me, I find healthcare in Africa and say in Kenya, it's still very reactive. Like, I need to be really, really sick to find myself in a hospital.
Yes, and
like,
I agree with you. And it
like,
stems
I
from,
need to, yeah.
so it stems from so many factors
Yeah.
that we've been conditioned to while growing up. Now, if you look at it, if you live in rural areas or areas where only government hospitals are available, by the time you're walking to that hospital, it takes time. So somebody, by the time they're saying, I want to go to the hospital, means they're in real pain. Now, our platform basically doesn't wait for you to be in real pain. So that point where you're feeling like, I feel the signs today I'm having are not correct, but I don't want to self-medicate myself. What do I need? I need to speak to somebody and explain to them what I'm feeling, and then they can prescribe something. Then if they'll tell me, take it for 3 days. If it gets worse, now go to a physical facility.
What if they just Google?
It's an option also. But remember, here now you're being confined in a professional setup where protocols are well defined.
Okay.
Yes.
Who's paying that 500 shillings? Who's paying? Is it cash? Is it insurers? And if it's insurance,
Currently, it's mobile money and card.
mobile money.
Yeah,
and
but
cards.
we're working with some partners to integrate now the insurance.
How many users do you have? Like in a typical day, how many people use your service?
An average of 15 clients come through our platform.
Okay.
And I'm assuming this is mainly in urban areas, so like Nairobi.
You'll be surprised.
Surprise me.
People have access to the platform, but they get, when they are procuring the service, they get it outside Nairobi.
So peri-urban, not rural.
Yes, not rural.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so I'll typically, what you're saying is someone is likely to use it when they're outside Nairobi, where they can't access hospitals.
That is one factor we've noticed.
Yeah.
And also, those are just within Nairobi, but they don't want that hassle of waiting for 2 hours.
Okay.
And because they just have headache, which they can be able to comfortably access.
Would you use telemedicine?
As I told you, if I am sick, I will want to see a doctor. So I need. That's why I want to. I like this. I can go to a pharmacy. I can call JP. If I need to talk to a doctor, there's someone in my. I'm like.
I'm 50-50 on telemedicine.
Me too. Me, I'm less of 50-50. I'm more like. I think it works in some aspect, but a lot of. Like conditions that I'd rather see like a physical doctor. That it gives me some form of comfort.
Yes.
Yeah, and I think sometimes, that's where telehealth and telemedicine might struggle.
So the
Since you've
telemedicine.
Sorry. Since you've already seen some patients on it, you've given some numbers. How many of those end up actually going to a doctor, and how many don't? Do you have that information?
No, we haven't built the referral framework for physical. So that's what we are currently building, so that the doctor who sees a patient can be able to in-app refer them to a physical facility. Then you can track that metric.
Because that endpoint would be very important to know, because if the patients, 90% of them, for example, end up still having to go back to the doctor, then it points to this not necessarily working.
I can pick from my previous work where
were you? Where did you see telehealth and telemedicine working really well?
Just across in Uganda here.
In Uganda?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, where I worked for some time, and it was a pure telemedicine space.
Okay.
And 80% of the patients end up coming back through the same channel. So what will happen is you'll go once they've experienced the beauty of telemedicine, the medicine or the lab and all this process just seamless, and they're feeling better later on. It's a no-brainer return framework for them.
Yeah. There's a part which I think was maybe call it closing the loop. Once the samples are taken to the lab, the doctor needs to receive those results and then recommend.
Correct.
How does that happen?
So how it happens with our partners is, so once the results are ready, they are on board, they are relayed to our platform. Then our system will reroute to the doctor and the patient at the same time.
Okay.
So as a patient, you get a notification in-app that your results are ready, so you can be able to check. And then the doctor will get also a notification. Then the doctor will get back to you now to interpret the results for you and the next course of action.
Okay.
So it closes that loop of the lab leg.
Okay. So this digitizes the existing process.
Yes.
It just allows you to stay in the house.
Yes.
And do the same processes via mobile, web, whatever it is. That way I feel like I'm halfway sold. The part where someone comes in to take those samples, that one I like. Because sometimes you have this crazy headache and you don't want to go to the hospital and line up. Someone can come in and they're approved.
But I think some of these labs do that already. Like you can.
Yeah,
call,
I know. Like Lancet already does
just
it.
tell them
Even
come to my
Pathcare
house.
has a-
Pathcare, come
But
to my
now
house
he's
and
just
take the labs.
connecting you instead of
But I
you.
can connect to them myself directly. I can call them. Hey, can you come and take?
But they'll ask you what's the doctor's recommendation.
Yes, you have all that.
But you have to find a doctor. Then that doctor.
So the essence, you would find a doctor who will prescribe the lab test.
Yes.
You can't find a doctor who will prescribe.
Which is fine.
That's what I'm saying. Outside, yeah.
What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
it depends on how deep is your network.
In terms of.
In terms of, you say you can be able to call Dr. So-and-so
Yeah.
can help you that.
Yeah.
How many people have that ability? And let's put it that way. Yes.
Will there be a repeat customer? Because
Yeah.
I think once I get introduced to a doctor and I know the doctor can give me his personal number.
No. Unfortunately, you don't get the doctor's personal number, nor did the doctor get your number. All of these are masks. So these are how the platform works.
Yeah.
So you join via WhatsApp, you choose, I want to consult via chat or video or voice.
Okay.
So whichever on this other end, the information you are sending to the doctor as a ticket will not entail your number. You'll only be a ticket on the platform. You'll only be ticket number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Name is James.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that protects you as a patient to ensure that any information that you relay, it's like covered. That's number one. Yeah. Number two, when a doctor gets to you, we use a SIP trunk call. So the number that will emanate on the client side will be the clinic's number, not the doctor's personal number.
Okay.
Yeah. So that ensures
As which clinic?
our number.
Oh,
Yes,
clinic. Okay, got you. Like that's
yes,
the name.
that's what will appear on the other end. So even if you call back, it still be us. So that protects both parties. And remember, and the doctor will attest, he receives an average maybe 10 calls in a day. 8 are pro bono cases. People because they know him.
Kina Wangari.
Now, out of those 10 cases,
You are helping him charge for those.
Exactly. So what we are trying to do is to ensure that the skill set he has and the opportunity he has to serve the masses, he can also benefit out of it in his house when he's relaxing.
Yeah. What doctors are you targeting to get on this platform?
Currently, we're doing GP.
Okay. Is there a competing product similar to yours?
Many.
Yes, there are various. So I don't know if I'll mention the competitors here, but in Kenya, there are a couple of competing products. So we got HealthX, we got Zuri, we got Ponea. There are several.
Okay. What separates you from them?
The depth of the services we offer.
Okay.
And the network of chain of pharmacies that provide services fulfillment for our clients. So most of them you'll find they give you a prescription, go sort yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
For us, when a doctor writes a prescription, we'll ask you, do you want Klinik to fulfill? If you say yes, we've geotagged where you are, so we'll send to the pharmacies around you.
And how long
Okay.
does it take for the medicine to come to me?
An average of 1 hour, you'll have to get the medicine.
That's long.
It's long. So this is I said an average. Why is it so? So we will send that prescription to assuming you're where we are here, so you get 5 offers of the same prescription. Then you choose whichever you want.
Different prices?
So pharmacy A will quote this, pharmacy B will quote this, pharmacy D will quote this. Yeah. So depending, because
Do the pharmacies know that this is happening, like the price comparison?
Sorry?
Do they know it's happening, the price
Yes, because
comparison?
they get an offer, and then they respond with the cost of the medication, and then they say, we will get back to you if your offer is accepted.
Oh, so they send you the different
Yes.
offers. Okay.
Then we converge and then send to the client, so the client chooses whichever they're comfortable with.
Who is liable when something goes wrong, like a doctor's misdiagnosis,
Okay.
or a lab test was not done correctly? Who's liable?
So 2 things. So we got partners who we signed indemnity with. That's number one. Two, for the doctors, they're under hospital. So they're not
Okay.
freelancing. So we got a layer of quality check that normally happens.
Okay.
Yes.
So if anything goes wrong, the patient will not sue Klinik,
No, we sue the hospital.
but the patient doesn't know.
Which is fine. No, we avail everything because what happens is we say we are sending you to our partner doctor.
Doctor.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Because we are a platform just connecting. That's all.
How long has Klinik been running?
So we began officially in January this year.
So, yeah, okay,
Oh,
so
okay.
5
Fine.
months in,
Yes.
around 15 customers a day.
Yes.
Okay, that's not bad. But no, for this startup now, it needs volumes.
Yeah, because so remember, we are not just focusing on the doctor consultation bit. So we got the other
Okay.
the other verticals. So we got the pharmacy where you have your prescription obtained from your doctor, you can upload on our platform and we can help you fulfill.
On the doctor side,
Yes.
what is the optimal doctor-patient ratio? Because if tomorrow you have 100,000 people coming every day and you only have 10 doctors, the queue time will almost be the same as just going to a hospital because now they'll be waiting there. Let's say 20 doctors serving 100K people.
So the backend, we monitor the metrics of queuing time to doctor.
Okay.
So with the moment we realize there is a lag, it means the demand is high, the doctor ratio is less. So what happens? We now engage our partner to increase the number of doctors.
Okay.
I can see how because in the beginning you talked about access and making it more affordable for people to get treatment.
Correct.
But a very important element in healthcare is quality.
Yes.
Because if you don't sort out quality, then everything else becomes very expensive to get healthcare, because if you mess up here, then you have to spend money doing
Yes,
other things
yes,
to
yes,
fix
yes.
the problem that you made there. So how are you fixing for that on your platform?
And that's why
how do you ensure?
And that's why again I'll go back to how our doctors onboarded onto our platform. So we don't vet them ourselves. Our partner vets them and then onboards them. So there's what we call quality analysis that normally happens periodically on checking. And on the client side, they have a feedback loop that they can be able to send to us. At the end of the service, we'll ask you a survey question. How was the service? So out of that also help us to curate to know how are the quality of service going on. And remember, we can be able to tag the patient to the doctor who served the patient. So if the rating is bad, then that means we send to our partner who now takes care of that. So that's done periodically to ensure that the doctors on the platform knows the level of quality care they need to provide. Remember, we're in the business of building trust to the platform mechanism. As Wangari said, he's not comfortable now. And we got millions of that. But how do we ensure that with the time, Wangari will have confidence in coming on board onto the platform and be able to procure a service?
I mean, just on the trust element, I don't particularly trust Meta. WhatsApp, and you said that is the platform you're building all of this. How sure am I that my data is being protected? It's not being sold to someone somewhere that these are the number of Africans with this disease, and I think there's a really dark side to collecting this information on WhatsApp. And how are you protecting my information when it's being shared? And we can say, WhatsApp is encrypted, all this blah blah blah.
Yes,
but
yes.
yeah.
So remember, we get as minimum data about you as possible. Number one, we don't get your identifier on our platform is your phone number.
That's a lot, eh?
So we don't.
In Kenya, that's me.
And that's for us,
Yeah.
not for Meta. That's for us.
But I'm putting it on the Meta platform.
Yes, but remember, so we're working with the APIs also. It's protected because there's no the IP or the system is ours. So we've not white label or outsourced for somebody. So we build it ourselves. So everything is in-house. So that means even from a data protection angle, everything is within our control.
You've spoken about trust.
Yes.
And in healthcare, building that trust has a lot to do with that relationship
Yep.
with the person, your healthcare provider,
Yes.
whether it's the facility or the doctor themselves. But doing that on text, it's like ordering, shoes from Instagram. All right. You don't get to interact or connect with the person giving you that care. So how do you ensure that I can trust the person who is advising me, and then come back later to the app to do the same thing?
So let's say, as I said, chat is just one angle of conversation. So there is a video where you can be able to see the doctor on a screen, and also they can be able to see you. That's number one. Number two. Number three, there is the voice call. But remember, the client is at liberty to ask, can you refer me to where I can be able to be physically examined? The doctors will be to where are you, and then they'll be able to refer them. If they are within their locality, they can refer them to the facility where they are, and then they can be able to pick it up from there.
Okay.
This platform is supposed to be like a side gig for doctors?
Majorly, yes.
But also doctors don't have jobs.
No, I'm just thinking after you've done a 10-hour shift and you're exhausted.
How much are you paying them?
So this is what happens. So a good question.
Yeah.
You've done 10 hours because you're
Yeah.
employed enough. Out of how many 10 doctors who get out of university go through the internship and they are approved by the board? How many get absorbed into the work environment? Thank you.
Yeah.
That
I don't know
answers
the
it.
percentage, but I'm assuming
Yes,
it's
the
not many.
percentage is big. Doctor here can be able to give us stats from his side, but he knows the number is big. So out of 10, remember, statistics shows 2% of the world's doctor population is domiciled in Africa. Only 2%. But universities are churning
Yeah.
thousands of doctors. But where are they going after they have been approved by the board? Either they fly out of the country if you have means and connection, or look for opportunities where you can be able to do a lot of locums.
Yeah.
And this is just one of them.
Oh, okay. I see.
How much are you paying them?
Now, what happens is we don't pay the doctor directly, they are engaged with the hospital.
So the hospital knows how much
Yes.
the doctor makes.
Correct.
And you don't.
It's confidential. But we charge 500. The platform charges 500. But now the engagement between the doctor and the hospital, that's confidential.
This is a legal side gig that the hospital knows about.
Sorry?
It's a side gig that the hospital knows about.
It's telemedicine. It's approved by the board.
Okay, no, I'm just saying now your employer knows that, or if you're in locum, they will know that you're making X amount of shillings from Klinik.
I don't know if this is my question to ask, but how does Klinik make its money?
It is your question. Go for it.
Because there are different pay points. There's a consultation. Are you getting a percentage of the lab, a percentage of the pharmacy?
For each, we get a commission.
Okay.
For each vertical.
How about the referral? Are you referring back to the physical brick and mortar facility that you're in contract with? Or
No.
They just go
So
anywhere?
the referral, how the patient is comfortable. Yeah. So what happens, what we've noted, that's why we say we are building the now in-app referral framework, where we can onboard other other facilities that in-app the doctor can be able to refer. So currently, the doctor is at a prerogative to know, okay, so you're in Kitale, I have a friend in Kitale who runs this hospital. So I can direct you there, and then I can ping them that I'm sending a patient, and then when you go there, you received well. So currently, it's done offline, the referral framework. So we don't get any money from the referral.
Yeah, I think I'm liking it.
Question on your home care.
Yes.
You said that's a vertical you're building or it's been built?
We are building now.
Okay, my money is on the home care. So I'm assuming this is where a doctor is coming to you, to your...
So our focus of home care is not from the doctor side, but it's the palliative care, side of the nurses and caregivers.
Okay.
Yes. So you have a patient at home who has a terminal illness,
Yep.
need to be taken care of. So instead of you calling your friend, do you know a nurse? Now you can just come onto our platform and you can get qualified nurses or home caregivers.
Why have you decided to focus on the terminal?
So what happens, there is a trend that's ongoing. Even if you look at the big hospitals, now there's a trend of people trying to, instead of staying in the ward for long, they would rather be taken care of at home.
Yeah, I agree.
So it has a most, from the environment perspective, the healing process is faster, and also from a cost perspective. But now, how many nurses and caregivers are in the country? So many.
Many.
Everybody want to go to Saudi Arabia, whatever they are. Now, for those who cannot go, and they have that experience, can they be able to find that gig framework, which we're providing now?
Have you tried just to give home care to outside of terminal?
No,
patients?
terminal is just an example I used.
Oh, it's just an
It's just an
example.
example I used.
Okay.
But anything about, as long as you have a patient at home who requires the services of a nurse or a caregiver.
I particularly like home care doctor services, and I remember I used to use this a lot when I lived outside of Kenya, where you look for a doctor, they come to you within an hour. Imagine like a really busy mother, or you're working from home, and a doctor is actually coming to you, or even like a pregnant lady, and you're getting that everything at home. And for me, that's a convenience I'd definitely pay for versus going to queue in hospitals or use a WhatsApp bot.
You've just described my target. The target
So if you, I think
No,
like if you,
there's another target market where there's certain things maybe you don't feel like you want to communicate over, like you woke up and you have a rash on your groin.
tell us, Chris.
or your right testicle has disappeared. So you're like, I need someone to examine what's happening here. And I feel like I don't want to really communicate this through can someone come over for that? And I think men of a certain type would be a good...
I think very many people like the comfort of a doctor coming to your own home and
But
space.
it would be expensive, I suppose.
Yeah, so we are trying to balance. Okay, we'll introduce the doctor on call kind of framework.
Yeah.
But we're still doing the unit economics.
I remember COVID. There's a startup that tried to do that. I'm not to remember which.
Yes,
one.
there's a startup that did that, but what happened? They scaled down because after COVID, now people wanted to do. It was not a demand per se. So what happens is because how we look at where is the demand side
Target the rich. Target the people who can afford it.
It's an option. That's what I'm saying.
I think it's the only option.
Yeah, it's the only option.
We're doing the unit economics.
When you're somewhere deep in Kayole, there's no way a doctor is showing up in Kayole at hapo hivyo kwa Kware.
Which is fine. That's why we can use our telemedicine framework to
yeah.
access. We still have to. So that's why when we are building this, we're trying to create a very clear persona on which this particular vertical, whom will it target? And that also help us to refine the kind of features that we put into the...
Is that considered still telehealth? If I come to your platform and I want home care?
Yeah,
because I've reached out via
technology.
So you've just
I've engaged you.
Yes, you've engaged us.
Yeah.
So what happens is, remember, we're providing you somebody who has been has been vetted and qualified, and we got all their info, and they're coming to your house. So it means you, from a security standpoint, you got somebody whom you can hold accountable in case something goes wrong.
Is the current setup enough to generate enough revenue for the company to run itself, or do you need to grow by a certain multiple of customers to be self-sustaining?
So where we're going to be self-sustaining very easily.
Oh, nice.
However, we still need the sheer number of numbers coming to the platform.
What's a good number of customers?
So we can say an average of, if we get an average of 50 people coming into the platform per day, then that makes sense.
That's respectable. Government
50.
hospitals.
Yeah, that's very...
Government hospitals, okay, the big ones would do... You do know the number?
So it depends which level of government hospital.
So I got like Mama Lucy will do like 5,000
a day.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yes, because when I was beginning this, I used to do a lot of observation in the hospitals. I was Mama Lucy, Mbagathi, and so many hospitals, just to observe what are the pain points the clients are facing to access this healthcare. So that now helps me when I'm building my platform, provide those solutions. And
are your partners mostly private, or do you have public hospitals as partners?
No, we haven't gone public yet. We're still in the private space.
Limits your scope.
It depends what our focus is. Because
He needs paying clients, huh?
we need paying clients, correct?
I get it, but
however,
in certain areas, it's only government hospitals that are...
So what happens is, and you have a point there, Chris. So what happens is the framework for collaboration with government hospital is still being built. It's not yet there per se.
Okay.
For telemedicine platform to on board or integrate with the government.
That's a long process.
Yes. If you look at the digital healthcare, we'll call it an act or something. Yeah. So where hospital government need to share data. So if I go to Mama Lucy now and I treat it there, if I go to Mbagathi, I'll begin from scratch.
Yeah.
Because my data is not shared. So that framework has to be in place before now people like us can come in and be able to provide now the tech from the telemedicine framework.
Okay.
Yes.
Many moons ago, I was once onboarded onto something very, very similar to this. Mm-hmm. It was being run by one of the major mobile network providers. I will not name them. And it was terrible. The user experience was so clunky. First of all, the patients don't understand what primary healthcare is. All right. So somebody will call you in an emergency, and because they know that this is the number they're supposed to call, they'd call, and then the call would cut off, for example, or even patients who are in an emergency, the call would cut off because they ran out of credit. And then when they call back, they're directed to a different doctor who didn't see them the first time. So they have to now replay their story again.
Oh, no.
And then it cuts off again. And then at the end of it all, they all are being told, okay, look, you need to go see a doctor. So if you can clean up probably the user experience and make sure that is, decent enough, so that if I'm WhatsApping you at night and then I wake up in the morning because I fell asleep, then I get back on. Am I seeing the same doctor, or a different one? Do I have to start from scratch?
Because onto his point, if you add to that, sometimes you like a doctor and you want to be seen by the same
And that's human nature.
doctor.
Yeah.
So he's raised a couple of fundamental issues that need to be addressed. Number one, being tossed from one provider, doctor to another one.
Yeah.
So that's something that's very interesting in telemedicine. So to reduce that barrier or that friction, what happens when you come on board afresh? Remember, when a doctor is through with that particular consultation, they do a summary of the case, and that summary rests in your profile. So when we transfer you to another doctor, they can be able to see your summary of your case. So it helps it helps reduce you beginning your information from scratch again.
And this is can be a history
Yes.
of how many times you've seen the doctors and what was the summary for each time.
So for the doctor to be able to see the summary of each ticket that you had lodged.
Okay. Yes. And now you're tagged with your number.
Yes.
Okay.
Why can't there just be continuity of care with the same doctor?
Because remember, these are people who, for a doctor to receive patients, they need to log in. So you only access those who have logged into the platform. So if you don't want to see a patient, you just log out of the queue.
Can I be told when he's the doctor I saw at the first?
Because we're not tagging the doctor, we're not tagging the. Maybe that's something. It's a
I
good
can
suggestion.
tell you, your favorite doctor is not
Okay.
available.
So
From a business standpoint, I can be able to say prefer the doctor, and then we give you a list of. Then you choose, so that when you come in, we tag you to that doctor. So if they're not available, we tell you that currently they're not in queue. Are you comfortable seeing another doctor? If you say, wait, fair enough. So then we'll send them a notification that your patient X wanted to see you.
I like that aspect. Great, but I feel like that is very important for a well-educated, someone who understands healthcare.
Yeah.
Because if now you go to I don't know how to put it, someone who just woke up and they're just diarrheaing everywhere. They'll just be like, hey, where's that doctor? Can you bring that doctor to me? And they're like, oh, your preferred doctor is... Or they're like, no. I talked to him yesterday.
Yeah, no, it's true.
You may get those, I don't call them user behaviors, where if I know, my preferred doctor is not there, let me see the second tier. It works very well for a certain type of people. The more you have more people, it's like preferred or not, it becomes it adds less value to them. But I'd love to have my own personal doctor.
Me too.
It's good feedback. And that's
especially in telehealth.
Exactly.
Like if you told me I am getting the same doctor who knows my history, I can come back and tell him, the medicine didn't work. I think that continuous care is really
and
nice.
I agree with you. And that's why to us that so if a doctor prescribes some meds for you, it will be under the summary. So when you're coming back onto the platform, the system will ask you, do you want to continue with the previous element, or is a new element?
Okay.
So that helps the doctor to know it's a continuation of what you had already seen another doctor.
Okay.
So even the conversation will be so easy. It means whatever they had prescribed, it hasn't improved, so you need an opinion on the same, on alternatives.
Do you have a place for children care, especially 0 to 5?
Sorry?
You're gonna put them on telehealth. You think you
No,
as a woman, a mother?
No. Hold on. Come on.
My guy.
I've not even finished my question. Can you?
Hi, my daughter has a
I think that is a very, very big area. Especially if you're working, and let's say your house,
it's a routine check.
your house help calls you like, hey, the kid is puking, the kid is so and so. You can't rush from work, go home, pick the kid, take them to the hospital. If you have telehealth, I say like, hey, I've received these images from my house help. The child is 1, 2, 3 things. And then the doctor can tell you like, okay, just do this, this and that. Then you can order those medicines and they get delivered to your house.
They're all different parents. I think if I was called and told your child is puking and throwing up, I'd leave what I'm doing and go and
see,
care
that's privilege talking.
Amen.
But we're talking about
From your
someone
lips
who,
to God's ears.
someone who's in a factory, someone who's somewhere in a job that they can't just leave. To me, I believe that's a very big market for telehealth.
So actually, very interesting, and Chris, you have a point, because what you're seeing, we're also seeing a surge in seeking healthcare for minor.
Yeah.
Because when you come onto the platform, they'll ask you, are you seeking, do you want to seek help for yourself, other person, or minor? And now, because you are the mother, so you're going to manner. So when you engage in the doctor, it's like, my kid is going through 1, 2, 3. I just need an opinion.
Okay, an opinion, maybe.
Yes. So,
Like-
what normally happens?
Of course, that's
so
the
you won't
consultation.
come, if it's an emergency, you won't come onto a tele platform.
Yeah.
Or granted, but the house
An
help
opinion maybe on a skin rash.
Yes, exactly.
or-
And-
okay.
and
It happens
it
a
does
lot
happen.
for kids.
The house
Not your
the house help tells you
example.
today the kid has developed some rashes.
Yeah.
And I don't know where they're coming from. You're like, rashes, okay, I think I need an opinion to see exactly what's going on. So
Okay.
that helps.
An
now.
opinion, definitely.
Yeah, and it's still consultation at the end of the day.
Yeah, but it's not an emergency.
No.
Yeah.
Hey,
No,
It's not a case where I can
repeat.
see my child under 0 is throwing up. I know if they continue doing this, they'll get dehydrated. And like,
And then
I need to
correct. And
sort
again,
that
I
out.
repeat, telehealth is not for emergency.
yeah.
Telehealth is not for severe cases. Telehealth purely for
But I
primary.
think that my
think
issue
about-
with children, like it goes from 0 to 100 so quickly.
Yes,
But
correct.
thi-
yeah.
And that is like where I'm like very sensitive about.
Think about you're like a man.
I'm not a man.
Think,
I
think
can't think like a man.
for a second.
No.
Put your
No.
mind into a man's
I
mind.
cannot.
You're there sipping your cold beer. You've been left with the baby for the day or for the afternoon. And then all of a sudden, the baby starts showing some like.
I'd hope you put down your beer down and take
No,
the
no,
kid
like
to the
the
hospital.
problem is
Yeah.
that you don't know what to do. The problem is you don't know what. There's a medicine cabinet over there, but you just don't know what to do.
I married an
This
idiot,
would-
man. Honestly.
All men are idiots when it comes to children.
I've been there, and WhatsApp is the last place you're going.
No. I'm just saying this is an option that you can have whereby like, okay, you don't know what to do. Will you call your mother? Will you call your
mother.
wife? Would you call someone like, hey, it's like everything. This is a good option.
I
when-
guess it's an option for men, I guess.
not for men, just people who need that opinion, second opinion. Or if a husband and a wife disagree about what is supposed to be done, let the doctor decide.
I like the idea of a second opinion. But anyway, I think we digress.
There's something is mentioned which is interesting, and we're seeing also picking up on our platform, which is the therapy, the virtual therapy program on our platform, because we have a huge team of therapists on our platform who offer the virtual services, and we're seeing a lot of people coming for that because it provides a lot of so you have because there's a lot of stigma being seen walking in a therapist office. Now, transferring that.
Maybe for men.
Yes, and I'll give you an example. So one of the corporate partners that we signed up, they had an in-house therapist, and they have a huge team of staff. A small fraction used to work in that particular office, and the biggest chunk of that fraction were ladies. Now, when we provided the platform where now they could be able to access, we saw the drive in men like crazy.
Interesting.
I like telehealth for therapy. I think it's
Wow.
great. You've watched The Sopranos.
Yes?
The first thing when Tony Soprano goes to therapy is he had to keep it away from everyone because that was grounds for him being killed, because a man keeps his problems to himself, which is wrong in some cases, which is right in some other cases. When things are a bit to boil over, it's good to have that option to just dump your nonsense to somebody else
I mean, yeah.
and let them deal with it. That is something I think can get even funding for like donor fundings, where like, okay, not make it free, but make it cheaper and accessible to have I think nowadays it costs up to like 2K per hour for therapy.
Yeah. I mean, I completely agree. Access to therapy, if you can do something online and you're seeing more numbers, that's totally amazing.
Yeah, because with the therapy, you can be able to access through the chat, the video, or the voice. Yeah. And we're seeing, so we used to have a standard kind of figure, but what we've noted, there's a big chunk of our would be clients who have been sidelined because they see the cost is quite high, like 2,000 something per hour. So we're building a bouquet that will favor especially teenagers, guys in college, because they have a lot of challenge, but their pocket is not well endowed. So we're building a package that they can be able to get that 1 hour service at a cost-effective rate, because they just need to speak to somebody. Somebody has broken up with a boyfriend, or the boyfriend has run away, and they just need somebody, because we're seeing a lot of suicide in such entities, because there's no room to vent out. Yeah. So now we're creating so that they can come onto the platform, procure a service at a maybe 500 shillings, and then they speak to somebody. And the counselor now, if it's a more serious case, now they know how to handle it from that particular front.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you had a question.
Yeah, no, it's just to say that I like the idea, but I feel like it is too broad when you're talking about primary healthcare, and there's so many variables that go into solving that base. But it makes a lot of sense when you squeeze it down to a niche. Yeah. Like you're talking mental health or home care, like she was saying.
I agree.
Yeah, and I personally feel like that would be a good place to start before you jump to primary health care.
I think therapy is your best feature, followed by home care.
Okay.
I think home care and then therapy.
Yeah, I think therapy has more people having problems out there. The economy is shit. So,
but it's still quite expensive. How much is it for? Or it's still 500 for?
No, 500 is a bouquet we are building. We haven't deployed it yet.
Okay.
Because it also
depends. What do you call it? A bouquet?
Bouquet.
I think you might struggle with that 500 shillings.
Yeah, it's just...
it's so what happens is, remember, we don't make these units on our own. It's in consultation with our partners. To come with these figures, because the therapists need to agree to a particular figure. So this is like their offering is like a CSR in a way for
the therapy is 500, Bob.
No, I'm saying the bouquet we are building. Currently the therapy is 2,400.
Any a bouquet of flowers.
A collection of things.
A package. Oh, sorry, package.
Okay.
Building a package.
I didn't know that people use that in Jalous, I guess.
So we're building a package so that 500 will be like for teenager university people in that framework. So we haven't deployed it yet.
So therapy will still cost me the same if I just got somebody from approved list in a hospital. It's not cheaper for telehealth. That's what I'm saying.
Sorry?
I'm saying therapy, the fact that it's on telehealth does not make it cheaper at the moment.
What it provides is convenience.
Convenience, yes.
Currently, the framework, most entity, you have to go to the physical.
Yeah, I think that works. Like if
Isn't convenience usually more expensive?
Yes. People pay for convenience.
So if you're in your house...
it depends. If I'm driving on Mombasa Road and the traffic is just hell and I just came from home and there's more madness, I can just park on the side of the road.
Yes, and you jump into a call with a therapist.
I call like, hey man, today morning is just effed up,
That is a life saved actually in such a situation. Once you talk to a therapist, you cool down and can drive your whatever.
Now you're ready for the day's nonsense.
Yes. Yeah.
That's a life saved.
I think he mentioned something about donors, and I think a lot of healthcare, especially in Africa right now, is very like heavily donor focused. A lot run by like foreigners, and a lot of it is non-profit. And I think they've painted that picture of it. What are your thoughts around that? Because as he said, you can easily get funding for, like, say, you're offering the mental health services. Is that a direction you want to go into, or you want to focus on profitability and...
So for every business setup, there is always, you define your business model.
Yeah.
So business model can be defined by paying clients or a supporting entity to reach a particular goal. Now, if we focus on mental health, now we got 3 tiers of persons. So we got the high-end person who is comfortable paying 5,000 to see a doctor therapist, a PhD therapist, and we got you and I who are comfortable paying 2,500. Then we got that somebody in Kayole who said, who has a challenge in the marriage. They don't know whom to talk to, but they don't have that 5,000, that 2,500. So by virtue of providing this service to this particular person in Kayole, it means the cost has to be borne by somebody else. So, and that's where now the donor you're talking about comes in, because what you're doing, you're trying to increase penetration of therapy to a wider base that are disfranchised from an economic
I
perspective.
don't know whether I agree with that. I don't know. For me, I'd rather focus on one, either the rich or the poor. If you're focusing on the how do you serve? Look at.
I don't
it's
think
virtually
most businesses that especially in healthcare actually have a blend of the two.
like no, Chris.
Because
It's either
They
really,
have a core target.
yeah, it's either those who can't afford it or those who can. You can't like mix.
so if I'm not wrong in this case, there could be a partner would come in and say, we would like to have people from a certain area get let's say malarial treatment for free.
Okay, that's
You are
not
the facility.
That's not high net worth individuals, is it? Or
Yeah, no, they can't. So you say, like, if anyone comes to your hospital and they're diagnosed with malaria, you have to give them drugs for free. We will bond that cost. So they only have to pay for doctor's consultation. So someone from Kawangware, whatever, would come to your hospital and say, like, okay, I'll pay the doctor's fee. If I have malaria, drugs are free. That hospital is a high-end.
I don't know whether that's how it works.
Even that consultation fee will be different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now the cost has been halved on your side. If I might also be wrong. The hospital in Kijabe, the eye clinic, I think it has like a partnership which allows them to undertake eye surgeries for poorer people.
Yeah.
Because typically those type of surgeries are very expensive.
Expensive, correct.
For that. So the eye surgery by itself is a rich man's thing. But you can have a blend where, in most cases, the expensive hospitals are the ones who have the best facilities.
The
For those-
expensive, okay. Yeah.
Like diagnosing eye cataracts, MRI scans, and all that. They're the only ones who have it. But there are certain diseases which can be diagnosed easily with those machines. So then you have a partnership with, like, your MRI scans. We can have 100 patients every month from a poorer background.
What happens is, in the field that you're in, is we got two co-leverage, using technology and accessing a wider base of people with less barrier. Now, what happens is, so you'll find our focus is a paying client as we speak. Now, that's our core focus. So we try to segment and be able to bring as many services that paying client can still be able to pay. But now what will happen, you'll see a partner coming and say, I like what you are doing.
Yeah, offer it to.
Yes, but
Yeah.
offer to this cell of people
Yeah.
who are well defined.
And it's good on your balance sheet.
And because it's not free, what happens is you'll find those people have been onboarded on a program.
Yeah.
So what happens is
That's fine.
they're onboarded on a program. So what happens? They are given special codes. So when they come onto the platform, those are the codes they use. Which now the paying system now does not send them to pay first. Now it switches them now automatically to go receive the service.
Yeah, like people who want liposuction. But I think healthcare, if you need to have impact, you have to target the base of the pyramid. I think there's additional care, not additional care, I don't know how to call it. The home care is great. And I'm sure those rich people probably have already contacts to the hospitals. They can have their personal doctors. They can have doctors they know. So the app really doesn't do much for them. The app will be good for a middle-class person who cannot afford a personal doctor, and they need like a pool of doctors they can consult.
And that's correct, because our focus is middle class.
Yep.
That's where our core focus is, the middle class. So this is somebody who has a less disposable income, yes, and want quality service, but also is highly indebted to convenience.
Yeah.
They also have insurance.
Yes, they also have, but remember, how many people have insurance? That's the
A
beauty.
lot of the middle class.
Yes.
The employed ones.
From a statistic perspective, the employed ones have, yes.
Yeah.
And that's why we said we're building the insurance leg, where now, when you come to our platform, what we'll ask us is your card number, then we send an OTP you put onto the platform, then that claim can easily be processed. So that's the angle we're building.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think
But remember, insurance also, after COVID, so many companies went into you go expense, then we will reimburse you. That's what we've noticed a lot. So it means people have to dig into their pocket.
Okay.
And which is very interesting. Now we're getting a lot of requests for, can we have buy now, pay later framework on our platform? So that I have a challenge, I need to see a doctor, but I don't have the 500 shillings now.
Okay. Is it something?
Or I have a medication, I have a prescription, I need it fulfilled, but I don't have the money now.
So sad.
Can you be able to provide a buy now, pay later? Which is now we're currently working with some partners. So that now we can come in and say, currently we have a partner who provides salary advance loans to corporate people. Now, if you come to our platform and they have a relationship with your company, now you can access our services and then we'll do the balancing on the back end.
Amazing.
And how is your team set up? Do you have, like, for example, a healthcare practitioner? Like, what's the team?
So we got two layers of team. We got an advisory board that's made of a lot of majorly are in the healthcare space. So the guys who provide us the guidance, the observatory framework, and also help us to navigate murky waters. And
is there a doctor there? I know they say we are very difficult. But
yes, we've got two doctors on the platform.
Okay.
Yes.
One
is a surgeon, the other one is a
lawyers.
one is a surgeon, the other one is a dentist.
Okay.
So they provide that, and then we have a nurse also on the advisory board, and then we have a PhD therapist on the advisory board.
Are you looking for funding?
Yes, we are.
Okay. What is it for and how much?
Just to scale. Remember, for us to be able to reach the level of 50 packs per day, we need to create as much brand as possible. For example, like this platform I'm in, just to create that awareness. And creating awareness is never free. So you need to oil that machine to ensure that so many people save that WhatsApp number on their phone so that when they need it, now they can be able to utilize it.
Do you have an app?
We haven't built an app yet.
So just WhatsApp. You just add the WhatsApp.
We're planning to build USSD first.
Smart.
Before we go to the app.
So your costs for building this, I can assume, are not that heavy.
Because it's in-house.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. I think this is a very viable startup, in my opinion.
I'm still not convinced. Especially the telehealth stuff. I just don't see myself.
I think it's a middle class application.
Yeah.
Where you provide convenience, especially for home care and the telehealth. I feel like if it's heavily marketed on that for the middle class, and you only need 50 customers per day, I think it's viable. Yeah, like I say, you wake up tomorrow and your right hair armpit has turned white and the other one is black. And I'm like, hey, what's happening? Am I aging too fast? Did I eat something? This is not correct. You had a party yesterday.
And then the point key is, how many times do you go to a hospital given a prescription, you're told of the 5 medications, you only have 3?
Never. I don't know.
But practically, I've never ordered medicine over any platform. I prefer you tell me what I want. I'll go find it myself, which is, okay, there'll be different use cases. But I think that second opinion, that what's happening, does it conform with what I thought? Is it different from what I thought? To me, that's the value.
Yeah. I think I don't know. Would I use telehealth or any of the services you're providing? Probably not. Just because, first of all, it's like if I want to see a doctor, I'll go see a doctor.
Therapy too.
Therapy I would not do online because there was a time I went for therapy and I lied online. There's just like, why am I lying? They can't it's just
but
like.
that's the point of therapy.
To lie? No.
They just dump your shit on somebody.
No, but I felt like it's like the screen provides, like there's no, you don't see my body language. Like I felt it was very detached, and I preferred like a one-on-one sit down with a therapist in front of me. And I think that is just like me personally. So I don't think at this stage there's any service I'd like count.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I won't dismiss your opinion, which is correct.
Yeah.
However, from a therapy perspective, there is always a tool that we can send to you, like it's called intake questions.
To see whether I'm depressed. And then I'm like, I've answered, no, I'm depressed.
But it helps curate which kind of challenge you are experiencing so that when you're paired with a therapist, they know exactly how to...
But I think therapy is like dating, honestly. You need to find a therapy that you are comfortable with. Like, I don't know whether I'll just come onto a platform and find a therapist.
Preferred therapist.
Yeah, but it will take some time.
But
right?
I think where it would add value,
Yeah.
maybe that initial contact needs to be face on face. Maybe you've set some therapy goals and you need to check in either every week or regularly, so that, like, let's just have like a 30-minute or a 10-minute catch up. Like, how are you doing? What's you improving? I don't need, maybe I'm out of town, maybe something else came up, I'm just too busy. I don't want to drive all the way through traffic just to have a 30-minute catch up with my therapist. So the initial, that face-to-face is not replaced, but it's supplemented by telehealth, where you just check in every week.
Yeah, I guess.
I agree with that take, that you still have the primary health care and then use the telehealth as a kind
So
of
there's
follow-up.
something we're building, which is allowing people to be able to book therapy in their physical location. So, because if you ask somebody, do you know a therapist? They go blank. Now they come to our platform, we can provide where they can be able to book a therapist, and then once they book the slot, they can go to that
Does
physical
this even
office.
exist in Kenya, where I can go and find out all the doctors? Because it's all usually very referral based. Hey, I'm looking for a doctor for this.
Yeah.
Oh, these are the ones I
Am I
know.
wrong that doctors are similar with lawyers? They're
They're not allowed
prohibited
to
from
advertise.
advertise their services.
That used to be the case. Things have changed a bit now.
So now you can
Yeah,
just
you can put yourself out there.
out there.
Yeah.
And
But you
why-
cannot sell yourself as, for example,
best
being the
doctor.
best.
Yeah.
You can't advertise that, I'm the best in therapy. That's not allowed.
Yeah, that's agree.
Yeah.
There's that protocol framework that you need to confine yourself in.
But I think, that's my take. I don't know whether at this stage I'm convinced. Again, and I also think the home care. I'd pay for that convenience. And if it's something routine and it's not an emergency, show me a list of doctors. Can they come to me within an hour?
One thing that for that routine, things like how often do you check your blood pressure?
Yeah.
How often do you check your breasts? If there are lumps, how often that happens? If you can book something like that, where once in 3 months or 6 months, someone comes in and with the whole family, they check everything, and just to know that everything is going on well. Or if something is coming up, they can know that, hey, there's something here that needs to be. That would be great.
But of course, I am wishing you all the...
Out of 10,
And I also think you need to focus. I know Chris is saying you can mix the different demographics. For me, focus on one. And I always say, try and serve the rich first before you get to the people who can't afford things. Because it helps you. Once you are serving the rich, you can start thinking through how to... It's very expensive to serve people bottom of the pyramid. But yeah, I think I'd give you maybe like a 4.
Wow.
And this is, I don't know, like, as I said, if I need to see a doctor, I need to see a doctor. I'm not going to go on like WhatsApp, even like a therapist. It's just...
how will the doctor rate it out of 10?
When it comes to healthcare, I'm a purist. It's one of the oldest professions in the world. And there are a lot of intangibles that go into your interaction with a patient that telehealth has never quite gotten right. I've interacted with very many telehealth platforms and seen various startups, worked with them, but I've never seen anyone quite get it right. Now, for me, again, I would also do a 4 out of 10. But if you were telling me you were going into a particular niche, like the therapy space or the home care space, then I would up that to a 6 and say, give this thing a try. But I remain to be convinced.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but
I
all the
th-
best.
And I think even a really good niche is just look into pregnancy. I think it's a very broken process in Kenya. And if you could provide a niche service to pregnant middle-class women, I think you will be making bank, giving them options. I know there's a few startups that have started doing that, focusing on pregnancy, and that's a niche. And I think you'll see like good traction there.
Well, I like the fact that for the primary healthcare, he's digitizing that process. He's not building something else out of the wall. Is just like, this is the same process you would undergo in a hospital. We're just making it convenient.
But I can assure you,
for you.
Kenyan hospitals will still make you do the same thing. Every day you go there, they're like,
Oh, no, if you're sent directly to a lab, you skipped all those things. So I feel like there is value there in it. The challenge will be how many people will take that up.
Yeah.
Okay? So people just say like, okay, screw it, I'll just go to the hospital. Also like, okay, this process is so seamless to me that every time I have an element, I'd rather go to clinic and then get the subsequent services instead of starting off with the registration from a hospital. Given that value, I feel like a lot of things can be plugged into it. You can plug pharmacies, you can plug hospitals, you can plug other things on that particular process. So it's, how do I put it? It's convincing, not convincing, it's prospective but not convincing. Like, this is a good thing, but it needs more to be...
to convince me,
to be convinced on that, because I always go back to the user behavior. You build something for them, they don't use it. Or you build something for them, and then from nowhere, someone started using it for syphilis training or syphilis treatment. Like, oh, we found this thing, and then you hit a jackpot without even knowing. So that's why I like it. Now, home care and therapy, I feel like those are premium features, if I might call it. So you can hit it very well, or it can be this high margin business serving low number of people. And it's not a very big business, it's just a dependable business. So that said, from a potential perspective, I give it a 6.
Wow, from Chris.
From a potential, like there's something, it's the way you say, I need more data to validate. But from the concept, I like it. It just needs more data to be validated. From the reality, it's like a 3 and a 4, actually a 3, because number one, I think I've not used any of similar services. I think I've seen several versions and the telcos of trying to build this. Other people, no one has really done it. So there is no one success you can say that telehealth is a success in Kenya, so that other people can follow on that. So you must have a great team. You must have worked in that industry. You must have known why other people failed in that industry. So from an execution, and then it's 15 daily users a day, right? That's MVP, but it's not good enough to say like, oh, now we have a business here. Tomorrow an investor comes in and puts in 100K USD, and that can translate into a great thing. So there remains a lot to be proven. But for me, it starts from the idea. If that idea is great, okay. Now, let's get to see what the execution looks like, if that's the right team to take it to success.
I'm surprised this was like successful in Uganda.
It is.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Maybe they're different people than us. They're just...
No, they are.
They care about their healthcare more than us.
I don't know. Yeah.
It's just the same way, how do you say, when Uber came into the country, guys were skeptical. I'd rather call my taxi guy. But with the time they realized it's still offering.
No, until the taxi guy was more expensive than Uber.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think price was the differentiating factor for
and
Uber.
And convenience. The core was
I completely
convenience.
agree with you. If you can tell me I don't have to wait 2 hours, and that's the reason I don't go to. Why am I waiting 2 hours with a? Like, let me first go to a pharmacy and see if I can deal
So
with
last time
it.
we give you 15 minutes, you have a doctor.
Yeah, but online.
Apples and oranges.
Correct. Actually, you're right.
Online. I want a physical doctor.
We should do like a retake 1 year down the line to see where if it is clinic has gone out.
I think he focus on one. If you're focusing on bottom of the pyramid, go the donor way. Try and get a Muzungu on your team. Try and get like this donor money, because there's money there, and that's the truth, eh? And then if you focus on like top of the pyramid, I think there are people who
So
want
the
that
first question is, how big is the middle class in Kenya? How many of them are willing?
Shrinking.
I think it's shrinking.
Yeah.
How many of them would be willing to use the service? Like a total addressable market. You might find that number is really small.
Yeah.
So then now your product becomes
Yeah.
narrow. Then you start feeling like where the expansion routes do I have? Going to the rich, that's probably harder because they have 1,000 options. Then you start figuring out, I just have to go down.
Yeah. And that's, I think, where healthcare in Africa has gone.
I think healthcare in Africa, you have to serve that market. That's the only way your business can scale. Even if you want to partner with companies that do research and they want data on how many people have mental illnesses in the country. Like I have 100K users. My data is better sample than those rich people you're serving. They're just having mental health because they're busy taking drugs and bored of life, kind of thing. So I think you need to go.
Down.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions for us?
No, just an appreciation, man. I thought Chris will grill me today.
No, that's Chris doesn't grill bad ideas.
No, I just think sometimes people have bad ideas, not well thought through. One thing I can tell, you understand your industry well, probably more than us, right? You've articulated your answers very well. They're well thought through. But if you came here with bullshit, you'll just get bullshit back. Bullshit in, bullshit out. This just other people expect to be pampered, I suppose. That I woke up and I want to serve people in the market. I'm like, who's the market? Who's the people? Did you even sit down and consider someone needs this? There's very poor thinking on how products are made. Companies have product managers, product analysts, because understanding the product is really key. Who's my clients? How do they behave? What do they need? How much money do they have? How many times do I expect them to repeat using this product? Is it a product that will live 1 year and die? Is it a product that will live forever? All those questions, no one thinks about them. But if you sit down and think about them, I'm like, okay, this is a good idea. I've seen other people try to do it. I'm saying potential, it has potential. But potential does not mean that
Success.
it'll be success. There has to be that background work of getting those contracts with hospitals, getting marketing going. I never knew about Klinik at all. So there has to be, I know about my DAWA because I see it everywhere that I go, billboards, YouTube and everything. So they've created that thing. Although I've never used it, but should one day something come up in in marketing they call top of mind awareness.
Yes, correct.
They have very great top of mind awareness when it comes to e-health options, especially for drugs, for that. So then you need to create that top of mind awareness, and that comes from marketing dollars, just pushing ads, partnerships, and everything that has to do with health. Then it becomes a great product, I suppose.
And just one last thing, you mentioned in there somewhere that there was like AI that was embedded into your platform.
Yeah.
That you're using for triage. Do you have plans to do anything more with that? Because I think that would be something that's
we got bigger
very
plans with
interesting.
deployment of AI. I'll just not disclose it here, but we got bigger plans to deploy AI.
You're hiding the good stuff. Eh?
He doesn't want to be copied by somebody else.
So we got
Okay,
big plans
me
with
AI and health hapana. Guys, I know. There's just some things like, does technology need to be involved? And usually,
So what
in fact,
happens-
you know, the way you're giving that example, like how health records are not available in, say, Mama Lucy's and then Bagathi, I'm like, perfect. Leave it like that way. Why do I want my records all over the place, my health records?
We've gone through your 1 year. We think you're getting crazy.
There's some aspects where I think the data doesn't need to be
Analyzed.
Analyzed and that great.
You don't want to know if you're going crazy.
No, just let it be.
No, there are two things here. There is data analytics and there's data sharing.
Don't share my data with anybody, especially my health data. That is even of more value than my financial data. Like, it is of more value to so many other people. I would never want that shared with like anybody.
You're not sharing with anybody.
You never know who's looking at it, even like.
For wearables, that's something that I like because sometimes, let's say I've cycled, then I've had some drinks. So I'm like, today I should take a walk. Then when I click it, it's like, the watch tells me, do you really want to do? The one that I like, he told me like, you did not have a good sleep yesterday. You should skip exercising.
Which is smart.
Today.
Yeah.
No, that's the kind
That's
of...
now the data we're talking about.
that's the
But
kind
you
of-
guys, that is basic information. If you've not slept well and you're trying to work out the next day, your workout won't be efficient.
How would you know you slept well?
It's because
See,
you're informed.
You wake up feeling, you know how you wake up feeling? By being in touch with your body.
Go and live in the forest.
One day
To me,
they
I
give-
think wearables are great.
Yes.
I think they're great.
I think there are dangers to them. Just having something monitor your everything constantly and that data and that information. I used to be on that, like have
The
a
hospital already has your data. When you go there, have your urine tested, your feces tasted, and all those things.
Anyway, wrapping it up. Thank you so much, Steve.
Thanks for having me. I really appreciate. Honors for When I began Klinik, I remember I was watching your earlier clips. I was like, one day I want to be in this set.
Oh,
Amen.
That was last year, November.
Oh wow! I'm glad.
So Wanyama will have a session with you.
Last year, November. So I think I want to be on this set.
Thank you.
One day I'll be on this set. I just told myself one day I'll be on this set.
And one day we'll have enough money to invest in businesses like yours.
Hallelujah.
Yes.
To me,
Let's say we
to me, I was drawn by the vision
Yeah.
of. To me, I wasn't looking at are they investing or not. I was looking at an opportunity where you can sit down with people who can critique your idea and your business model and tell you facts on your face and whether you're moving the right direction or wrong. To me, that vision was critical for me. So I said, I must take Klinik.
Fish tank recaps. We have to do that next year. Yeah, to see
Yeah,
where.
we have to see where you guys are at.
Yeah, because this is great, and then looking at where businesses go to.
For sure. Asante.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hello everybody, my name is Steve Dimba, co-founder and CEO of Klinik Telehealth. At Klinik Telehealth, we provide you a convenient and accessible way to be able to see healthcare service providers, that is from a doctor, pharmacy, lab, and mental health therapist. And lastly, if you need home care services for a nurse or a caregiver, our platform provides that. So basically, we're the linkage between the service provider and yourself, be able to experience that particular what you call new age delivery of healthcare services. Wow, quite a. So let me confess, I really wanted to be on this platform after I observed a couple of pitches and been following the channel since some time back. And I remember last year, I just told myself one day I'll be on that particular set. And here we are, power of foresight and thinking through. So the experience has been great. Discussions has been so much filled with a lot of positivity, positive criticism. The team is well knowledged. Having a doctor on set also provides that adding factor, age, that's critical. And them helping me see different angle of the business that we can focus on to be able to ensure that we touch the right segment of clients that we are focusing on, which is also a plus. And then validating a couple of ideas that we had. And more importantly, Chris being on my side, that was God sent. For those who watch this channel, they know him. He's a data guy, so he's really good with his data and opinion also. He never shies. So to me, I'm coming out of this particular session more rejuvenated, more focused, with a lesser angle of, a clear angle of sight on what I need to do next for Klinik to ensure that now we touch a bigger audience in terms of deliverables, and also just to spread the word more, because from the discussion it's very clear for people to be able to embrace telehealth, we need to be top of mind. And that's why we're here at Klinik, to ensure that people understand. You can download or you can save Klinik's number and be able to exploit. So the number, it's a WhatsApp based platform, 0756 400 414. I'll repeat again, 0756 400 414. Just send hello to it, and then the menu will populate, and out of there you can be able to experience the beauty of our services. So Fish Tank provides two critical entities, a sounding board for founders, because at times I can tell you building a startup is not easy. It's a very lonely journey. People say so, but it's true. So when you get a team of experts who understand startup ecosystem, it provides you an opportunity where you can be able to sound ideas and be able to see whether you're drinking something out of this world, or you're in line for the money that's ahead of you. That's number one. Two, it provides a very good framework for you to be able to spread the brand that you're building to a wider audience who can be able to interact with your product or service, and that provides you value as a client, so as a startup owner. So that means out of this discussion, you may end up getting 3, 4, 5 clients coming on board onto the platform, and eventually procuring a service which provides money at the end of the day to the business. This being a recorded session, it means it will be there for eternity. So it helps you also track the nascent journey that you began from the single room to the grade A office that you'll be eventually there in. So it's a very good platform and I appreciate that.